ground shake.
Good morning everyone, nice to see you all again. So last class I have talked about the poem on children. So let me read once again the poem, students, and conclude the poem. So, and a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, here the woman is Almitra Asiris, and he said, he means here, that is the prophet. What he said? Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, strive means struggle, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the arrows from which your children are leaving, arrows are sent forth. The archer, that means the God, sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he means here the God, bends you with his might, that means with the God's might, that his arrows means his children, arrow means children, that is metaphor for children, may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. So yeah, how much you try to bend yourself, how much you change yourself, the archer will have a happiness. Gladness means happiness. For even as he loves the arrow, that is, as he loves the children that flies means that they grow, develop. So he loves also the bow, that is stable. So here, bow is parents, metaphor for parents, arrow is metaphor for children. So like this, Gibran ends with the saying that the prophet is the best known work, that is, the prophet which offers a critique of an unusual expectation of parents regarding their children and urges them to introspect. So, after knowing this poem, let me come with the central idea of the poem. See students, in Gibran philosophy, love occupies the most important place. His doctrine of love can be explained thus: the meaning of human existence is the conscious and progressive manifestation of that principle of source of everything, in manifestation of which in us is signified by love. This love is the core of human life and the divine supreme law that should guide us and sustain natural law. In the sermon on children, Gibran tries to illustrate how love works in the intimate relationship of parenthood. In Gibrian scheme of things, Gibran assigns the role of parenthood or stewardship. So here parents are compared to stewardships or stewards. You may understand that they are the helpers, assistants. Stewardship of parents. The whole poem presents before the reader how parents should bring up their children. Many parents believe with good intentions that they have a legal and unethical right to make their children. I repeat, many parents believe with good intention that they have a legal and an ethical right to make their children the very reason, that is, children conform on their ways of thinking and doing. But this is the very reason for parent-child gap. In present day psychoanalysis, it is acknowledged that, or you can say in psychology, it is acknowledged that extreme possessiveness and overprotection on the part of the parents will cause the children either to develop a weak and neurotic personality, or to revolt and abandon his parents' mansion. Hence, Gibran here exhorts the parents to express their love in self-sacrifice and not to be oppressive. Incidentally, using the metaphor of bow and arrow, Gibran argues that God is the archer and parents should only serve as a bow to bend the arrows, that is, the children, swift and far. God decides the destination for the arrows on the path of infinite life, that means not having a definite goals of the life or the infinite life, and pulls the bowstring. The bow has to be able to withstand the force of its string being drawn back. To do this without snapping in two, the bow also has to yield. Yield. This tensile strength allows the arrow being held on the string to be realized with optimum energy as it creates balance through resistance and tensions. Thus, Gibran appears to be asking us to be strong and bendable at the same time. He expects parents to shower as much love as they can on their children, but never to thrust or push their ideas on them, and to let them to be free to develop and mature on their own. So this is what Gibran philosophy talks, students. So hope you understood the summary. If you didn't understand, again you listen the video, again read the textbook, then you can make out, students. So it's very easy poem, and blueprint will be just 5 marks for this. We can't even predict in English, you know this. It may be for 6 marks. If you are lucky, you will get for 6 marks. And also overall it will be 11 marks. So let me come with the glossary. House, shelter, tarry, linga, archer, one who use bow and arrow, that is here God. Comprehension 1. So, and a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Here, he refers to." So you can guess, I'll give 1-2 seconds, you can check. Yes, it is the prophet. Answer is the prophet. Your children are not your children means, you can guess, students, that means parents, that is, have you guessed? It's okay. See, parents should not possessive of their children. That means parents should not be too much possessive, because children are the life's longing for itself. Now, they come through you but not from you means, it is option, can you guess? Yeah, it's B. Children have independent personality. Third one, B. According to the prophet, what may be given to the children? Yeah, answer, parental love or love of the parents. You can write down parental love or love of the parents. Both answers are right. Their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow means, fifth one I'm talking. So, possibility of A and C, students. Children belong to the future. House of tomorrow means future. Children have different vision of life. This is also correct. A and B. Next, sixth one students, the bows and leaving arrows refers to. The bow means that flies here, the parents refer to. Bow means parents, leaving arrows means children. So this is 1 mark, that is comprehension 1. So let me come with the comprehension 2. Why does the prophet categorically state, your children are not your children? See students, you have to go with the first 14 lines. You have to go on explaining the parents' view. Here the Gibran talks to the parents that they have to take in a practical view. So they have to understand here. They must know the role of the as a parenthood, what they have to expect from the children. So he says here, your children are not your children. Gibran tells parents to be aware that a child is not a thing to be possessed by us because we have not created life. A child is eternal life. That is, life's longing for itself means it's an eternal life. ಅಂದರೆ ತನಗೆ ಆದಂಥ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಭೂಮಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಜನ್ಮ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೂ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಇರೋದು. ಸೊ itself and is a gift from the abundance of existence. Abundance of existence means nature. As parents, we may have brought them to the earth. This has happened so because we have been chosen to be a vehicle, and so we are nothing else but a passage. That the passage means it's a gap between us and means your parents and children. That is, we are just a vehicles for them to bring on this earth. So, earth. This has happened so because we have been chosen to be a vehicle, and so we are nothing else but a passage. It is life's longing for itself that brings children to earth as sons and daughters. Since children are not lifeless things, we cannot possess them. That is why the prophet categorically states that your children are not your children. So let me come with the second one. What does the metaphor bow and arrow signifies with regard to the parent-children relationship? So students, you know the metaphor for bow is parents, arrow is leaving, that is children. So you can write in your own words how it regards with the parent-children relationship. So you have to use the word archer also here, how we makes both bow and arrow to have a right bondage, right relationship. You have to use those lines and you have to write. Next we'll come with the, according to the prophet, what attitude should parents have towards their children? So here quite parents should consider themselves steward students, and their role is only stewardship. So like this you have to use the understand the attitude of the parents. Stewardship is the role of someone caring for something or taking care of someone or that thing, or someone does not belong to them. That means parents should understand, of course they have given a birth to the children, but entirely children won't belong to them. This should be understood by the parents, what Gibran wants to say. Khalil Gibran wants parents not to look upon the children as their puppets, and as so not to impose their religion, politics or ideas on the innocent children. Parents may give their own love but not their thoughts, because the children have their own ideas, things like this, but not their thoughts because they have their own. Here the poet uses the word soul. Soul means thinking. It should not take it as a soul. Of course it is a, in Kannada we say Atma. Illi artha adu namma yochanegalu anta artha. They have the free will to do as they please and have a mind of their own. They can free to think for themselves. Parents merely act as who they are and lead their own life, and not how their parents want them to. So this is what prophet talking about the attitudes of the parents. The children have their own future that the parents should understand. Children are having their own thoughts, their own goals, determination. Only the parents have to push, understanding their talent. They have to make them to develop themselves. They must support by giving their love. That's all. That's what he is talking. But children and the parents should understand that children are belonging of the tomorrow. So like this, we should only, that means we here, I am talking about parents. Parents should only give us much love and support for them that they can reach their goal. So we should resist the temptation of making our child a carbon copy of ourselves. We have to stop that what we have in our life. We think that if I am a teacher, I should not impose my son to become that he has to become only a teacher. It's wrong, students. We parents should understand what a child should want to become, and we need to support them. This is what we have to know from the Gibran philosophy. Of course, it may be appear as a controversy to our culture, students, but still somewhere Gibran philosophy is right at the concept. So next, comprehension 3. In this poem, parents could stand as a metaphor for older generation leader, religious heads, teachers. Having considered the above option, offer different readings of the poem. So think that your parent is the older generation. Their thoughts differ from your thoughts. How it may differ, how the parents should change themselves. You have to write in your own words. Even leaders. Some parents will be some leaders. Maybe any leader. So their thinking will be different from your thinking. How this can Gibran philosophy, whether it apply or not, you have to go on with the option and you have to explain. In your own words, you can do it, students. How much it differ from your parents, that is older generation. If you think that your parents are leaders, how it differs from you. Think that how your parents are religious heads, means in some, maybe some, any religious head, students, you can understand. Think that your parents are teachers. How you can understand how they may impose their thoughts on you. But still, whether it is right or wrong, you have to write in your own words. Understand it is your analysis. You have to bring into notice by taking the lines from the poem in your answers. Don't go in a common way. You should not write, students. You won't get any marks also, and you don't consider a right good answer also. So next, second one. In the light of the poem, think of different level of freedom children must have in the shaping their lives. So that means, according to Gibran philosophy, parents should apply to give a level, that is freedom to children, that they can make their own goals. So you have to relate with examples, plus also, negative also. This is analysis. You can write both positive and negative thoughts, students. It makes a good sense. Use all the phrases from the poem and go on explaining. So some lines like this. In the line, repeat in the line. For example, you may strive to be like them, but seek not make them like you. So you can use this here for this second one, this line, and you go on explaining the thing. Next, third one. The poem does not focus merely on the lives of children, but also talks about the responsibility of parents discussed. Of course, there is lot of responsibility of the parents. It not only talk about on the lives of children, but also it talks about the responsibility of the parents. Hope you agree with the Gibran that parents have more responsibility than the children, like this. Yes, even I agree that yes, parents have a lot of responsibility on children also. So here, in the first part, Gibran argues that children take birth as life's longing for itself. They are born as sons and daughters to us because we have been chosen to serve the Supreme Creator as vehicles. We do not create children, and hence we cannot possess them. So for this I am analyzing, students. For third one, I am analyzing. Next, he enlightens the parents on their role. He says that we should give our children as much as love as we can, but never our thoughts. We should not. We means here I am talking as parents. Parents should never impose their thoughts on children, because children have their own thoughts and ideas. The children must be let free to think for themselves and not rushed or force our ideas on them. So then one may be tempted to ask, don't parents have the responsibility in bringing up their children? Of course, it is there in our Indian context. We can question now, as a parent I can question like this. Don't I have a responsibility on you people to bring up you? Of course, the thing is, for this, answer is yes only. But what Gibran says? Gibran says that God is the archer and parents are the bows. That, of course, even Gibran says that you are the parents, but God is the archer. Everything is designed by the God itself. Only we are the stewards, and we need to understand this, and we have to support the children. That's what he is telling. And further, what he says, Gibran, the archer decides on the target, bends the bow to suit his target and shoots the arrow. The arrow are the children. That means Gibran at the end, whatever our life may be, it is decided by the archer anta avaru ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Only it is decided by, our fate is decided by the archer, that is the God. The arrows are the children. Thus, the archer wants the parents to serve as his instrument. If the bow remains rigid and inflexible, understand, the bow remains rigid, andre ನಂದೇ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್, ನಾನೇ ಸರಿ ಅಂತ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಅಷ್ಟು ರಿಜಿಡ್ನೆಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದ ಆರೋಸ್ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ರೀಚ್ ದ ಡಿಸೈರ್ಡ್ ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನೇಷನ್. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆದರೂ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸು ಮಕ್ಕಳದ್ದು ಏನು ಭಾವನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಇಷ್ಟ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದುವರಿಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕೀಪ್ ಆನ್ ಅವರ್ ರಿಜಿಡ್ನೆಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ, children never reach their goal. Therefore, as parents, it is our responsibility to be flexible enough to allow our children to live their own lives. We may have a wealth of experience from which to guide them, but the future is theirs. Of course, future is theirs, and so should not be hindered by projecting our past failures, nor our parents. I'm talking on the behalf of parents. Nor by promoting our over jealous expectation for their future success. So this is what I'm talking, students. Gibran appears to be asking parents to be strong and bendable at the same time. Bendable means they have to change their attitudes, their thinking, what they think. That parents usually think that we are right, our children won't be having a knowledge of life. But parents should also, in another view, parents should also understand that children are more intelligent than us. They will be seeing the world, today's generation, next generation. So it differs a lot from our to them. So we need to change ourselves. So the bow has to be able to withstand the force of its string being drawn back. To do this without snapping in two, the bow also has to bend. This tensile strength allows the arrow being held on the string to be realized with optimal energy, as it creates a balance through resistance and tension, very much like the kind of discipline we try to impose these restrictions, this discipline, all this in making and breaking the boundaries of our children. So sometimes it happens, students, as I personally view, sometimes we impose the discipline, certain discipline should be there, like this. Sometimes it may go to aversion, it may go to aggression, so the child may lose its track. So better parents should understand some extent that we need to give the freedom, we need to understand their talent, and naturally, if we support them, the children also develop their talent, and they are able to reach their goals. So like this, Gibran advises parents must do all they can to help their children to fulfill their own highest potential and not their parents. So like this, Gibran ends with saying that everything is enveloped by the God. If God wishes, He can change anything at any time. He can change the plans, goals of everyone. The way He loves the arrow, He also loves the bow, the same thing, in the same extent. But still, He advises your parents, the God expects parents should change their thinking, should not impose their thoughts. Let them grow freely and let them reach their goal freely. Where archer will be having a weave on both the bow and arrow. So like this, Gibran ends his point, students. Hope you understood the poem. It is also in your textbook. It is in Kannada. Once you check, students, back of you, once you read ಕನ್ನಡ ವರ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಅನುವಾದ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಸೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬರೀರಿ. ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಸಡನ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಕಾಪಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎನಿ ಗೈಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ so that it will be easy for you to answer for the exams also, right? So it's very easy in Kannada. They have given in Kannada also. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಓದ್ತಾ ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು then you start reading once again English, okay? And you try to write the assignment. See students, assignment I will be uploading in our classroom. You check it, and even I'll mention there the last date of it. So previous this 2D you have to complete the assignment, read it. If you have any doubt, you can ask, you can WhatsApp me, I can clear over there. So like this, different hands way. Let me read here. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳೆಲ್ಲ ಜೀವದ ಸ್ವಪ್ರೇಮದ ಪುತ್ರಿಯರು ಅವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೂಲಕ ಬಂದಿವೆ ಹೊರತು ನಿಮ್ಮದಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಅವು ಇರುವುದಾದರೂ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅವುಗಳಿಗೆ ನೀಡಬಹುದು, ಆದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಲೋಚನೆಗಳನ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅವರದೇ ಸ್ವಂತ ಆಲೋಚನೆಗಳುಂಟು. ಅವರ ದೇಹಗಳಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಮನೆಯಾಗಿರಬಹುದೇ ಹೊರತು ಆತ್ಮಗಳಿಗಲ್ಲ, ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಅವರ ಆತ್ಮಗಳು ನಾಳೆಯ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಲೆಸುತ್ತವೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಹೋಗಲಾರಿರೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಂತಿರಲು ನೀವು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಿಸಬಹುದು, ಆದರೆ ಅವರನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮಂತೆ ಮಾಡಲು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಿಸಿದಿರಿ. ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಜೀವ ಹಿಮ್ಮುಖವಾಗಿ ಹರಿಯುವುದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಿನ್ನಯ ಜೊತೆ ತಂಗುವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಜೀವಂತ ಬಾಣಗಳಂತೆ ಚುಮ್ಮಲಿರುವ ಬಿಲ್ಲುಗಳು ನೀವು. ಅನಂತರ ಪಂಥದ ಮೇಲೆ ತನ್ನ ಗುರಿಯನ್ನು ಬಿಲ್ಲುಗಾರನ ಗಮನಿಸುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನ ಶಕ್ತಿಯಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಬಾಧಿಸುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನ ಬಾಣಗಳು ವೇಗವಾಗಿ ಬಹುದೂರ ಹೋಗುವಂತೆ ಆ ಬಿಲ್ಲುಗಾರನ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಗುವಿಕೆ ಸಂತಸಮಯವಾಗಿರಲಿ, ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಹಾರುವ ಅಂಬನ್ನು ಅವನು ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿದಂತೆಯೇ ದೃಢವಾದ ಬಿಲ್ಲನ್ನು ಆತ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸುತ್ತಾನೆ. So translated by Dr. Prabhu Shankar. So like this, Gibran's philosophy talks that the parent should be more friend than parents. That's what I can end with this philosophy. So if you get a chance of Gibran's any other philosophies, any other poems you read, you just read it. So you'll understand the practical view of Gibran's poems. That means we talk it as a Gibran's philosophy will be. It is quite different from other poets. So thank you students. Hope you understood.